Welcome to Country Time Pop, where we bring you Southern style news and reviews of all things pop culture. I am your host, Roger, and today we are going to be discussing the amount of backlash and defending of a new title that is going to be released through Viz Media starting next year. And it's a post here announcement. Being mixed race in Japan, like Kazumi, means facing daily trials of racism, microaggression, and otherness. This is a journey of resilience, hope, and the search for coexistence. Half is More Volume 1 by Yuiko Fujimi releases summer of 2026. Now, on the grand surface of it all, it might not seem like it's all that bad, but whenever you start actually digging into it, it might sound familiar, and that's because this is the same talking point that we in the West have been dealing with for such a long time whenever it comes to anything in our medium that has to deal with any kind of things related to the color of your skin or anything as such, to the point where they have to actively go in and change characters that have been established for not just years but also decades at this point, of just so that they would have a means of telling these stories, because if anything else, they wouldn't be told in the first place. Like, let's just go on down and just see how excited some of these people are. Diversity is our strength. Viz going, truly. I no way. I never expected it to be licensed, so I don't even have it on my wish list. I'm so, I'm guessing, excited for this one. That's really crazy. Thank you so much. Viz going, like, glad you're excited for this. We hope it takes off in the summer. And this is just on top of the mountain of announcements that Viz Media has been releasing over the past few days. And as you can see, it's just like that. But then you actually get like actual reasonable thinking people here, like A Tray, saying like, yes, you were told to make your own characters, which is true. We have been telling these people that if you want to tell these kinds of tell stories without race swapping characters like they've done with Captain America, making him Sam Wilson and all that, instead of just giving the white man hand me downs to a black character, make him already to a character that's already been established for a long time. You just give them hand me downs and say like, your character isn't good enough. We need to give you this title in order for people to actually care about you, when people have been caring about them. But as he's saying, yes, we were told to make your own. Yes, you were told to make your own characters, and with that opportunity, you chose to tell the same old tired ass story about racism and other ridiculous bullshit that 92.8% of the world is tired of hearing about. So you are deservedly getting roasted. And going to Kong Min Lee, shut up. Everyone is so sick and tired of this garbage. But here's the thing, though, is that the country that this is wanting to be, that this is taking place in, where it was initially released in, they didn't want this either. Thanks to Bolt the Words of Paradise over on X, there's been a lot of talk about this announcement and whether or not it's woke or DEI manga, which, when you put it on the bare surface, yeah, it really, truly is. And continues, I started looking into this, and I was not expecting the rabbit hole it took me down. Here are the key information. Half is More. The Japanese title is whatever that's supposed to be, romanized as Humbun Kiroda, and is published by Torchweb. Torchweb is a digital manga site owned by Lee Publishing Co. Ltd. Torchweb describes it as a space for alternative expression and manga that explores mature, philosophical, and unconventional themes, covering topics like daily life, relationships, art, aging, and social issues. Some would consider this a red flag, though this is just the beginning. Sales data. First serialized started on June 26th of 2022. So by the time that this manga would even be released over here, it'll already be at 4 years old at this point. And did not get a physical release of Volume 1 until March of this year of 2025, March 28th, 2025. There was never any publicly disclosed sales data, digital or physical. Instead, we have to rely on Oricon. For those who don't know, Oricon is a major Japanese company that tracks and publishes music, manga, and entertainment sales charts. Oricon tracks weekly manga charts by volumes as well as yearly sales rankings, both digitally and physically. Half is more, never once charted with Oricon, which means one can reasonably assume it didn't sell well at all in its native language and market. In reference to other digital storefronts / tracking, it's also never cracked ebook Japan's monthly top sales. It did get recognized in the reward circuit. Specifically, it won Cree of 2025. This translates to Cree Night Owl Manga Awards, an arbitrary award for late night reads, the sort of indie / hipster stories you'd expect at the artsy upper class scene. These rewards ceremonies and rankings are funded by Cree themselves, Cree being just an online lifestyle magazine. This is where it gets interesting. Obviously, winning an award like this will, at the very least, boost visibility, though there is nothing to indicate sales increase after winning the award. But when you look into Cree and where their funding comes from, one of the big names that come up is Cool Japan Fund, a Japanese government-supported fund for creative content. The Cool Japan Fund is a public-private investment fund and touts pro-ESG stances. In fact, on the Cool Japan Fund website, under news, there is a section dated May 30th of 2025 that says it published a DEI promotion policy and harassment prevention policy. What this means is that while the manga itself may not be being funded for the expected reason of promoting woke or DEI sensibilities, the AstroTurf buzz behind it from third parties absolutely is. As for Viz Media's involvement and the localization / Western distribution, Viz is owned by Japanese publisher Shugakukan Inc. and Shueisha Inc. So the next step is to see if BlackRock or any other usual suspects in terms of DEI investment companies had any stakes in Viz, Shokugukan, and Shueisha. The answer is yes, Murabini corporations. Around, I'm assuming 1 year ago, he did a video about the Murabini corporations, how they are a Japanese DEI investment firm similar to BlackRock and the likes in the West, and how they are heavily investing in manga and anime. So, how are they related? Morobini Corporation started a joint venture with Shogakukan and Shueisha in 2022 and has a 34% stake in the venture. So yes, there are ties to DEI investments in the Western release of this manga, as it's being localized and distributed by Viz's parent company, who do have ties to at least one DEI investment firm. At the end of the day, here's the short version. A niche manga that didn't sell well wasn't heavily marketed, and whose only claim to fame is winning a reward for by an award by funded by pro ESG / DEI government funded magazines, and now getting a Western release funded by a company that has ties to pro ESG and DEI investment corporations in Japan. It's like, you're all welcome, you don't deserve me. No, we truly don't. Thank you, Bolt. You've done good work on this. But it ain't just that. We have just seen countless memes of people bashing on this because, again, this is a story that we have been getting pushed down our throats for so long that people are just absolutely sick and tired of being told the exact same talking points for so long that the only way you can just get everything through is by memeing the absolute hell out of it. But then you also have like the defenders coming out. It's like like this person, the reception to this manga has been utterly disgusting. Anime Twitter is so racist, it's shameful. The people piling on it have never read a single page from it, but already have negative things to say about it. Yeah, I can tell you exactly what it is because it states right there in the description from this. About a character facing trials of racism, microaggressions, and otherness. Again, whenever these people want to tell a story about black people, it's always the same talking point where the only thing that they want to discuss is how black people have to go through such racism daily. When the fact that the only reasoning for that is because you all keep pushing it. Because if you remember, back in the 90s when you had shows like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you had shows like Family Matters and the such, nobody cared that they were black. It's not the fact that we were watching a show about black people having to deal with this stuff. It's the fact that we were just watching a show, reading a story that just so happens to have black leads. Because their skin color, aside from just a few episodes where they dealt with that, but that was very far and few between, didn't harp on the fact that, oh, these are black people. We have to show them going through racist stuff because that's the only story that we can tell about a black person. And then we go up here to Scratch Point saying like, the reaction is due to years of being inundated with this grievance pop culture slop. No one with a semblance of good taste wants to read the same eternal victim lecture. This thinly veiled propaganda is being recognized for the subversion nonsense that it is. Japan doesn't need to feel guilty for being homogenized because people who don't take the consequences of their life choices into account have offsprings doomed to suffer an identity crisis. The emotional manipulation is largely being rejected, but these companies keep pushing like it's still 2015. Times have changed. They've lost the cultural monopoly. And yes, that is the good stance here, is the fact that when this all started, they had complete control over it because of the fact that back then we didn't push back. But now we're at a point in time where we have been saying enough of this nonsense. We don't need to keep reading about stories about people who just keep on pushing the victim blaming bullshit upon us. All we want are just good, entertaining stories that helps us escape from the bullshit that we have to go through our daily lives. And all I can say is that I hope this manga absolutely flops, because these people that go in and praise it and all that, they never go out and buy the stuff because they're too busy not earning enough money so they can afford to buy the next can of cat food, because that's all that they can afford. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, share it around, and be sure to subscribe to Country Time Pop so that we can bring you more pop culture news and reviews with a Southern style. You all have a good day now. Bye bye.